6, and on Saturdays, tune in for Commodity Week with a review of the week's markets at 8:30 in the morning, all on WHOW, AM, FM, and streamed online.
AgriTalk is the radio talk show for American agriculture. Hi, everybody. I'm Chip Flory, your host. We join you weekday mornings from 10 until 11 on WHOW, on AM and FM, and on the WHOW streams. We provide farmers and ranchers with timely insights and information aimed at improving their operations. Join me, Chip Flory, weekdays at 10:06 on Central Illinois Ag Station, WHOW.
News time is 9 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Thursday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 7 o'clock newscast brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and brought to you by Connexus, providing fiber internet to Clinton. Learn more at DeWittDailyNews.com. Last week, the Clinton Board of Education approved its fiscal year 26 budget. School Superintendent Drew Goebel explains there were some changes from the tentative budget they put on file last month to the budget they approved for this upcoming year.
The tentative budget that we always do at the August meeting gets a little bit more details of things, and then we have the final budget, which we did last night. And really, this go around, very similar. There wasn't a lot of changes, and a lot of that came down to last year when I did the tentative budget. We didn't have all of the salaries and benefits kind of figured in, and that is a huge part of the budget. I mean, that's the lion's share of where the money's going is for benefits and salaries. So that was already figured in last month. So this month there was some changes, so we finalized things like CPPRT, which is a corporate property tax revenue that we receive. So we kind of finalize those numbers. Evidence-based funding, we kind of finalize those. Talked about the tier structure. Clinton is a tier 4 school, so we weren't expecting any big changes. Another minor change was Title II. So we, in August, ISBE, Illinois State Board, we had zero money for Title II, and that we used that for a class size reduction so that helps us. That was not in the state's budget in August, and between August to September, they added that back, which was great. And that was about $60,000 that they added back into the budget.
According to Goebel, the budgeting process for schools can be very confusing. There is a tentative budget that is approved, and then the budget is finalized the next month. However, Goebel indicates at the end of the fiscal year, which would be next summer, the district approves its final budget.
We finalized the budget last night, and then I will try to stay as close as I can to those numbers throughout the whole year. And then in June, the fiscal year for the school district starts July 1. So at the June meeting, I will amend the budget, and I will recrunch all of the numbers, and we will have new numbers. And the reason we will have that because there's the unknowns. We have students that are our students, but they attend other schools for whatever special need they might need, and we don't always know how much that's going to cost. 25. It's kind of weird because it's like some businesses they start their fiscal year January 1st. January to December is their budget. School districts go from July 1 to June 30th. That's school district's budget. So we're kind of in the middle. So even though it's FY 25 now, we're going to end in FY. So we are in the fiscal year 2026. And again, I've been at that. I've been doing this for about 10 years now, because when I was the assistant superintendent, I was over finances and budgets and levies. And when I became the superintendent, I just kept doing all those things and then added things to my plate. Yeah. So we will do the tentative budget in August, finalize that in September, and then do an amended budget in June after we have all those unknowns.
Among the unknowns Goebel identifies are things like grants.
And even grants. So they call them carryover funds. So we should get more money, revenue, in Title I, Title II, special ed, IDEA. We won't get any. We have a grant for preschool for all that. We won't get any extra money there. So any of those extra things will go in to the amended budget as revenue. But then if we have other expenses that I again, I make my best guess on what the budget's going to be, but I look at last 5 years to kind of gauge on where we've been at, and then I go to meetings throughout the I really start looking at the budget in May. Like from May, June, July, August, and September, I'm looking at all these numbers. I'm going to conferences. I'm talking to people, trying to get the best educated guess, and that's what I presented last night.
The district will approve the finalized budget at the end of the fiscal year 26 next summer. The Apple and Pork Festival is the biggest fundraiser on an annual basis for many of the community's nonprofits. Rennie Kluver, executive director of the Clinton YMCA, says the annual Apple and Pork Festival is such a great opportunity to fundraise for the Y, but also numerous nonprofits in Clinton and DeWitt County. He notes funds raised from the Apple and Pork sales go towards the organization's general fund.
The baked potatoes, I would have to ask them what they typically do. I would say baked potatoes, they're probably, I know it's over 700 and that may be a day.
Yeah.
That may not be close. I know they sell a lot of baked potatoes.
Yeah.
Our pork cutlets, our goal is to sell 3,000. If we can sell that, then that's guaranteed a good fundraiser for us. And 3,000 is the goal. There's been some years that we've gone over that, but that's the sweet spot. If we didn't have Apple and Pork, the revenue that we can, because it's really not earmarked for anything special each year. I mean, it's on our P&L, it's a special event, no different than say the sprint try or the golf outing. And the golf outing is funneled to our Strong Kids program. And so Apple and Pork kind of funnels and fills in the cracks or wherever it's needed. And so if we didn't have Apple and Pork, there would be a lot of different little fundraisers that we would have to do to make up for that revenue that you can do in 2 days. I would just say on a good weekend with expenses, I mean, if we can make, I may be even shooting it low, $10,000 to $12,000 in net profit is a great weekend.
Last year, the Clinton YMCA combined spaces with their neighbors in the Otter Swim Team tent, which was a huge success. Kluver says they'll continue that partnership this year.
We finalized.
We're starting to put some things together as far as our list from the grocery stores that we need, and just getting the grill ready. And the tent company's already got their map of where we're putting up our tent. And nope, nothing's changed. Yeah. There is one change, I guess, from our part of the tent, because last year was the first year that we combined swim team, the Otters, and the YMCA booth, which worked out really well. So we're doing that again this year. The Y booth always used to sell obviously a pork cutlet sandwich, water, or iced tea. This year we're taking the iced tea out, and it's water, lemonade, or your 2 drink choices.
There you go.
And really, it's the Otters always do lemonade, and so with us being in one booth, it was just going to be easier. It really worked out well as far as the space, and the grills fits better there, and we didn't miss out on any sales from moving. I mean, we were really just moved maybe 75 to 100 feet from where we normally were.
Right. So. The Otter Swim Team will be returning with their baked potatoes at the annual Apple and Pork Festival. Kluver says the festival is the team's biggest fundraiser of the year.
This year, of course, we're just getting into swim season, and we've got good numbers, which is always nice to have. And Apple and Pork is very important for that program. I mean, that's a big, if not it is the biggest fundraising and what helps cover the budget of what that costs for that program. And it's nice to be connected too in the same tent, is because we can kind of lean on each other as far as help with volunteers, especially for us. Even some of the Otter kids helping with the lemonade, they'll be able to help with purchasing the people that purchase lemonade from our stand too. So it's going to even be better this year.
The YMCA and Otter Swim Team tents are located just off the Homestead this weekend at the Apple and Pork Festival. Keep it to regional radio in the days ahead for comprehensive coverage of the big weekend in Clinton. News time is 18 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Thursday. Making sure the roughly 80,000 people that come to Clinton for the annual Apple and Pork Festival stay safe is no small task. DeWitt County Sheriff Mike Walker explains part of where the festival takes place is actually inside of city limits, meaning the sheriff's office has to work with city and law enforcement to make sure everyone has a safe and enjoyable weekend.
I'll tell you what, we provide, people there. The majority of the Apple and Pork is in the city. Everything north of the covered bridge on the museum grounds is actually in the county. So that's all our responsibility. But, we work well together with the city, and we get up there and we do what we need to do. And I have my guys help out, and the city has their guys there. We have plenty of first responders. We have, the Clinton Fire Department has a crew there. The ambulance has a crew there. And how busy we are always depends on the weather. If it's hot, we're going to have all kinds of people, having heat-related issues, things like that. If it's rainy, we're going to have issues with people falling down in the mud and things like that. So hopefully we get some weather like we had this weekend. Would be perfect. Nice mild temperatures, bring out a good crowd. One thing about the Apple and Pork is it is truly a family-friendly event. We don't have to worry about, the issues that some other festivals have with beer tents and that type of thing. So, but no, we're looking forward to it. I mean, it's going to be here before we know it, because I've been seeing that all the booths on the grounds are sold out. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how things shake out at the Antique Mall, because the new bank took up some of their spaces there. So may have less vendors there, but some of those maybe have come to the museum grounds.
While the Apple and Pork Festival brings tens of thousands of visitors to the area, Sheriff Walker says issues are typically few and far between. He attributes the well-behaved nature of the event to its focus on being family-friendly.
I think the fact that it is a family-friendly event, and, most people you see there, a lot of people are bringing their family. It's very laid back. It's I think maybe some of the people go and eat and get tired and don't have any energy to.
Yeah.
A lot of people are there. They know what they're coming there for, and they go and see it, or they go and they enjoy walking through the flea markets and seeing the different wares that people have. And I really think that's just the key, that it's always been promoted as a family-friendly event. It's a fundraiser for a number of local organizations, so people come out to support that. And we've always been fortunate to we have a few issues every now and then, but as far as actual law enforcement related issues where we have to take law enforcement action, very few. I can't remember the last time that we've had one.
Yeah.
And I've been working this thing, Seth, I've been here since 89. I've been working it just about every year since 1990. So other than a couple years I've been off. So, probably at least 30 of them. I can only remember a handful of issues that we've had as far as law enforcement action.
The sheriff recommends using the shuttle to get back and forth from the Homestead grounds to prevent traffic with the high volume of pedestrians, and appreciates the drivers who go slowly and practice caution throughout the weekend.
The thing that really helps with this as far as congestion and traffic is when they started having the shuttle from the high school and using the trams. I would encourage anybody that's coming to park there and, maybe take in some of the flea market there across the street from the high school, and then use the tram to get here. Because, there is parking closer to the grounds, and, by all means, utilize that if you wish to. But I remember back in the day before the trams were here and before Center Street was blocked off, we had traffic coming in three directions, coming south on Business 51, going north on Center Street, and coming from the west on Woodlawn, and we'd have to stand out there and direct traffic. And I remember one year we had traffic backed up from Center and Woodlawn all the way past the south lights onto US Route 51, trying to get people in parked and things like that. So when the parking gets full out there at the grounds, utilize the high school parking lot, and keeps things flowing for us.
The Apple and Pork Festival is this Saturday and Sunday, September 27th and 28th, and you can learn more by finding the Apple and Pork Festival page on Facebook. Also, be sure to check out DeWittDailyNews.com for our Apple and Pork Festival page, and keep it here all week for coverage of this weekend's biggest event in Clinton. A warmer than normal weather pattern is setting up in the Midwest as we get set to usher in October. Ed Shimon at the National Weather Service in Lincoln indicates the outlooks show a warmer than normal trend heading into October and then through October.
Yeah, it looks like above normal trends for temperatures. That's not going to go away. But let's see, precipitation. We're right on the edge of below normal precipitation for October at this point. Once we get this rain the rest of this week, it looks like dry the rest of the month beyond that, and then October overall might tip the balance toward below normal. And when we're talking about October precip, it's about 3.5 inches of rain or precipitation usually. Hopefully not snow, rainfall there. And then temperatures in October looks like we average out around 74 at the beginning of the month for highs, and end of the month at about 59 for a normal high, which is chilly for a high. Lows go from 47 at the beginning of October down to 37. So you're dealing with quite a bit more frost potential there on a regular basis as we head toward the end of the month. As I'm looking at the 6 to 10 day and the 8 to 14 day outlooks, we're definitely in the 50th to 60th percentile above normal temperature. So that means, with normals right this month in the mid 70s, we're going to be above normal towards 80 for a good portion of the rest of the month, which would be nice.
September is going to close out a little warmer than normal. Shimon indicates the September September started with cool and became warmer, particularly last week when he says we reached the hottest air temperatures.
Sure, yeah. I know Lincoln got quite a bit of rain. At the DeWitt County side, right now Lincoln is showing right around normal for precipitation at 2.5 inches for the month, but that's not everywhere. So DeWitt County is showing about an inch less than that in a good portion of the county. So you're probably around an inch below normal in the DeWitt County. Temperature-wise, we're overall still below normal because of that really cool start all the way through the 9th of the month. We had double-digit below normal days, and then we have the heat wave, 90s. Still tip the balance toward below normal for the month temperature-wise. But each day is going to be above normal as we go forward. Near or above normal the rest of the month. So we'll probably end out right around normal temperature wise. Yeah, we actually hit the highest air temperatures we've had this summer because the air was dry. It warms up faster when it's dry and it cools at night faster when it's dry. So, even though we had a heat wave with heat index of 115 in July and August, that was because temperatures were around 94, 95, but the dew point was 80. That puts your heat index up in the hundreds. Well, we had the high of 96, but the dew point was 60. 20-degree difference in the dew point is massive in terms of the heat index. We set our highest temperature. I know Springfield did, on the 13th, I believe, or so. But it was, hotter temperatures, but drier air. So
as we move through the fall, daylight becomes less and less. Shimon points out we lose about an hour of daylight moving through October. News time is 26 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Thursday. Plenty more to get to coming up on the morning show.
Selection for a new Chevrolet is here at Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. This is Scott Baum. Yes, from the Corvettes to the Suburbans and everything to help your family or business, Chevrolet has value options for your needs. This month, see our Silverado trucks in 1500, 2500, and 3500s in gas or diesel. Our Silverados have big savings with more discounts if you trade yours in. Chevrolet, together let's drive. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
News time is 27 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Thursday. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. One more time, brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and brought to you by Connexus, providing fiber internet to Clinton. Learn more at DeWittDailyNews.com. We come up on 7 o'clock here on this Thursday. We'll take a look at network news. Following the network, a look at local sports. Clinton Maroons boys golf team regional champs this year. We take a look at that coming up on the in sports on the morning show.
In today's digital world, one medium stands out for reaching America's farmers and ranchers: Ag Radio. Farm broadcasters connect agricultural advertisers with the most trusted voices in rural America. While farmers may scroll past online ads or skip television commercials, they actively listen to farm broadcasters for weather updates, market reports, and agricultural news that impacts their livelihood. Ag Radio reaches farmers where they work, in combines, tractors, barns, and trucks across rural America. These aren't just radio personalities. They're trusted advisors who've built relationships with agricultural communities for generations. Data from the National Association of Farm Broadcasting shows that 80% of farmers rely on Ag Radio as a primary information source during planting and harvest seasons, exactly when your agricultural product or service needs to be top of mind. Ready to put the power of farm broadcasting to work for your brand? Visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com and connect with the voices that farmers trust most.
This is the voice of the Eastern Illinois University Panthers, Mike Brad, inviting all of our fans from Peoria to the Indiana state line to listen for Panther football again this fall on WHOW's many platforms on AM, FM, and streamed online. EIU Panther football is part of WHOW's great weekend sports programming schedule, including a Best of Clinton Maroon sports broadcast and CBS Sports Radio. We'll bring you every Panther game start to finish right here on Central Illinois' news, agriculture, and sports station, WHOW.
Tuning in and listening to the news, hearing what's happening with local views across the country or in my town. I tune in to find out what's going down. Local radio, keeping me informed in my community. Local radio. Local radio creates unity.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump claims that he was sabotaged at the United Nations this week, and he says he has a Secret Service looking into various things, including whether the audio for that event was actually possibly diminished when he was speaking. The widow of one of the victims of a plane crash that killed 67 is suing the U.S. government and American Airlines for her losses. An attorney representing the family of Casey Crafton says they're suing to hold American Airlines and U.S. government officials accountable for what happened on January 29th. Meta is racing to construct a large data center, the largest yet, in fact, a $10 billion facility in northeast Louisiana. It would be as big as 70 football fields and require more than twice the electricity of New Orleans. Some local residents complaining that the plans lack transparency to the public. This is SRN News.
My mother is thinking.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. Clinton High School's boys golf team is the Central Illinois Conference champions for a third straight year. The CIC meet was on Monday at Moweaqua. The boys scored a .308, a record low for the conference. They were led by junior Grady Douglas, who shot a 74 and placed second, followed by junior Griffin Utterback, who carded a 77, good for third. Freshman Evan Newberg shot a 78 and placed fourth, while junior Briley Carter had a 79 and placed fifth. Senior Ryan Pine shot an 80, and Carter Cawthorn shot an 87. On the girls' side, Mills finished with an 88, the low round on the girls' side. Senior Riley Fentress carded a 90, which was good for second place. The girls begin the postseason next Tuesday when they travel to Lincolnshire Country Club in Champaign. The boys return to Moweaqua for their regional action on Wednesday, October 1st. In a game heard here on WHOW, Aaron Judge tied the Major League record by reaching 50 home runs for a fourth time, hitting a pair of long balls as the Yankees regained a share of the AL East lead for the first time since July in an 8-1 rout over the White Sox. on
The
Wednesday.
White Sox had a front row seat to a little bit of history Wednesday night in the Bronx as they watched a modern-day bomber do what he does best, and that's hit dingers.
Judge hits a fly ball out into deep right center. Taylor's back at the fence. Gone.
With his 50th homer of the season, Judge became just the fourth player in Major League Baseball history to have 4 seasons of 50 or more home runs in his career, joining Babe Ruth, Sammy Sosa, and Mark McGwire. Oh, and Aaron Judge then added one more for good measure.
Judge powders one to right center. That's number 51.
With the win, the Yankees move into a first-place tie with the Blue Jays. We'll see if the Sox can salvage a game in the series finale in the Bronx. I'm Jeff Meller, and I'll have your pregame coverage starting at 5:30 Thursday night on the ESPN 1000 Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
And hear the Sox tonight and tomorrow right here on WHOW. Matt Shaw homered and had 3 hits. Michael Busch went deep, and the Cubs ended a season-high 5-game losing streak with a 10-3 rout of the New York Mets Wednesday night. Matthew Boyd tossed 2-hit ball over 5 1/3 innings to help the playoff-bound Cubbies solidify their hold on the National League wild card by 2.5 games ahead of San Diego. The Cubs have 4 games left, while the Padres have 3. Juan Soto hit his 43rd home run, and Francisco Alvarez launched a 2-run drive, but the Mets were held to 4 hits. New York got help elsewhere when Arizona and Cincinnati lost in extra innings, keeping the Mets 1 game ahead of both in a scramble for that final wild card spot. Boyd retired 12 of the first 13 hitters and did not allow a hit until Mark Vientos singled leading off the 5th. Daniel Palencia, who returned Wednesday from the injured list, followed Boyd and got the final 2 outs of the 6th inning. Aaron Cavalli pitched 3 innings for his first career save. The Cubs took control with a 5-run rally in the 3rd off rookie Jonah Tong. The 22-year-old right-hander, making just his 5th start in the big leagues, was charged with 5 runs and 7 hits with 2 walks in 2+ innings. Shaw homered to lead off the 4th. Alvarez connected in the 5th to cut it to 6-2. The Cubs replied with 2 unearned runs in the bottom half. Then Busch hit a 2-run drive in the 6th for his 31st of the season. The first 6 batters did reach base in the 3rd against Tong before Richard Lovelady relieved. Ian Happ's double with the bases loaded drove in 2. Moises Ballesteros, Saya Suzuki, and Pete Crow Armstrong followed with RBIs. Vientos' low throw from 3rd allowed Ballesteros to score in the 5th and was the Mets' 9th error in 6 games. Crow Armstrong then raced home from 2nd on a Clay Holmes wild pitch. Mets rookie right-hander Nolan McLean faces Cubs left-hander Shota Imanaga in the series finale tonight. Andrew Knizner hit an RBI double in the 8th inning, and the San Francisco Giants beat the Cardinals 4-3 Wednesday night to eliminate St. Louis from playoff contention. The Giants led 3-2 until Arenado tied it with a sac fly in the 8th. Sonny Gray has now 200 strikeouts or more in back-to-back seasons for the first time in his career. Cardinals right-hander Miles Michaelis starts against the Cubs at Wrigley Field on Friday. Get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Mainly sunny skies today with daytime highs approaching 77. North winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight, lows level off around 51. Ample sunshine expected tomorrow, highs level off around 81. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Right now, 55.
Agriculture news on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Rita Frazier. The latest short-term energy outlook released by the U.S. Energy Information Administration, EIA, this month offered some good news and bad news for farmers for harvest and beyond. On the bright side, a pump for farmers and consumers alike is rising. Could result in falling prices of oil